My name is Dr. Faith Cole, and I am the Student Services Director here at Leyden.
Hi, my name is Rhonda Kazmierczak. I'm the West Leyden school nurse.
My name is Megan Mihorczyk. I'm a teacher at East Leyden, and I graduated from West Leyden as a student.
Mike D'Acquisto. I'm a science teacher here at West Leyden.
I knew I was going on to college after high school, but the idea of going on to another place, I didn't really love school. It wasn't very easy for me. And so thinking about going on to the next level was really kind of intimidating. And so for me, one of the things that I was fortunate to get a basketball scholarship. And I didn't know what I was gonna do when I got to college, but I knew I was excited that I was gonna be playing basketball there.
I graduated from high school and I thought I was going to college like with all of my other friends, but that wasn't in the cards for me at that moment. I started working at an insurance company. I paid medical claims. So I started reading operative reports and they fascinated me. Triton College had a surgical technology program. So I signed up, started taking classes, and started working in the operating room at Elmhurst Hospital. And then I wanted to be a nurse. So I went back to nursing school at Triton and earned my 2-year degree. Several years later, I went back and finished my BSN at Purdue through their online program.
I ended up going to Carroll University first. I was going to play soccer and do nursing. With about a week left in the semester, I realized nursing was not for me. I always liked education, so I thought, well, maybe I could be a math teacher or a science teacher. So I went to my counselor and I realized that if I stayed at Carroll University to get an education degree, it was gonna take me 6 years. 1 week before the semester ended, I ended up going to my community college. And at Harper, I was pursuing my education degree, and my counselor there told me if I wanted to graduate in 4 years, I was gonna have to take an overload schedule. I was also working 20 hours a week, so I didn't really have a social life there. But after that semester, I went to Illinois State University, where I finished my sophomore, junior, and senior year, and I was pursuing a biological sciences education degree.
The biggest challenge I faced in college was being able to afford it financially. The way I overcame that was, first off, going to the financial aid office again and again and making sure I understood exactly what my financial aid package was and what other resources I had. And then in addition to that, I actually ended up transferring to the University of Illinois after my freshman year because they offer a program where if your family makes less than $60,000 a year, you actually get your tuition covered by the school. And now a lot of other schools are also doing programs like that for students who are maybe low income or having a hard time paying for their tuition. And there's also a lot of opportunities on campus, so they have work-study programs. I was an RA, so I had free housing as well.
I'd come from a really diverse background. Oftentimes I was around other people that didn't have the same experiences. Maybe they didn't have such a diverse community, they hadn't been around minorities. And oftentimes I was finding I was in spaces where people would maybe say things that were offensive or hurtful, and I didn't know how to navigate that as a young adult. But it was also very humbling. And then I realized that everybody's not coming to the college the same way I had.
When most of my friends were finishing college and starting their careers, I was just beginning. I started a family in my mid-20s, so I was getting married and I had 2 small children when I decided to go back to nursing school. Finding the time to study, to work, and have family time was the biggest challenge for me.
Transferring, it was really challenging because of the overload schedule I had to take at my community college. I was transferring to Illinois State University my sophomore year, so I was coming in a little bit behind socially and academically as well. To overcome those issues, I just got involved in a bunch of different organizations. I became a group fitness instructor. I worked at the REC, which is the gym at Illinois State University. I joined multiple education organizations and I ended up becoming a president of one of those.
I think something I'd really want Leyden students to know about college is that there's no one right path, I think, for anybody. I think oftentimes we think about college as being, for some people, exciting, it's gonna be the most amazing time of their life, and for other people, it's scary, it's uncertain. Some people don't even know if college is for them. And so I think oftentimes that we should talk about those feelings. I think there can be mixed feelings when you're getting ready to graduate, and we don't often talk to each other and say, this is kind of how I'm feeling. And so knowing that these feelings are natural and they're normal, they're part of growing up, and that college doesn't have to be one path for everybody. There's lots of opportunities for students depending on what direction they want to go to. But if they want it, here at Leyden we want to prepare them for that, whatever that may be, those post-secondary goals.
Not only do you get to meet a lot of new people and maybe live in a new place, you get to gain a lot of independence and you're surrounded by people who have very similar motives and goals to yourself. and you get to finally kind of experience and study what you want to study and follow your interests and kind of create your own path. So it's very unique for each person, and it's really up to you and what you want.
If I were to do college again, I would definitely take summer classes and take less classes during the semester. The reason for that is it frees up your schedule to get involved. Get involved in work opportunities, get involved in organizations. That's where you're gonna meet people. You're gonna learn so much from other people. You're going to have connections that are gonna last throughout your whole work experience.
So I think a day in the life of my college experience was a little different than probably most people because I was a sport athlete. So we started out in the morning, we had 5:30 practices. We'd have practice for about 2 hours, go on to breakfast, and then I'd go right to class. And pretty much I had classes back to back, and then in the afternoon I would have another basketball practice. And so college for me was really around school work, basketball, and there wasn't a whole lot of time initially for social time.
I had clinicals and classes during the day. I had classes at night sometimes. I worked a full-time job as well.
I would wake up at about 8 a.m., 7:30 a.m., and I'd head to the dining center, and then I would study my notes until class at like 9 or 10. So after my 9 or 10 class, it was lunchtime, back to the dining center, and then head to about my 2 or 3 o'clock class. Every day I was done about 4, and after 4 o'clock, depending on the day, I'd either go to work or I'd go to work out, all at the fitness center. After that, I'd usually meet up with some buddies, eat some dinner, and then usually review my notes before bed, but it was a lot of studying.
Even some of the difficult things, some of the uncomfortable times, things that when you're going through them are particularly difficult, when I look back and kind of reflect, everything has kind of led me up to this moment. And so my hope is that as I'm learning and growing in this space, that I'll continue to build that capacity and that whatever I go on to is really going to kind of help that. But oftentimes when we're going through something particularly difficult, it's hard to see the value in that and how it's kind of preparing us for the next step. But I've never looked back on an experience and wish it didn't happen. You know, when you're going through it, it's a little different. But realize that all of this has kind of led me up to be a better educator, to be a better mother, a wife, a community member. All the things that have happened to me have really supported that effort.
I was trying to get involved right away my sophomore year. In the beginning of the sophomore year, there were these education opportunities, organizations that I could join. And one of them was Golden Apple. I passed somebody, she mentioned something about Golden Apple, I thought I'd check it out. I went to this big auditorium and I'm listening to them speak, and they can give you money to become a teacher. They give you professional development over summer. You get summer institutes, 5 weeks where you're working with 1-year, first-year teachers, 5-year, 30-year veterans, and you can ask them any questions. And they pay you to go participate in summer professional development. And then after you become a teacher, I found out, they work with you for 2 years to ensure that you are on track, you have any concerns, any questions, they're there to help you. So that was the most transformative experience that I had, and all it took was one conversation with one person, and it completely transformed my future career.